there's an injustice, whether it's against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down. Don't sit down on them, because they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signore, back in studio. So glad to be with you guys. We got so many surprises and so much to go through today. I'm so happy to be back. And thanks so much to the amazing team behind me that has been helping this tremendously, including Steph, the all-turn nerd. What's up, Steph, joining me? Oh, Steph, it's so sad having you back to the remote version. But my God, what an amazing week the two of us had with Lewis and so many to finally be face-to-face. If you missed our week in Vegas, oh my gosh, I'm still in a high from it, Steph. You still feeling amazing?
Still feel awesome as ever. Yeah, it was such an amazing week.
So wonderful to have you here, always. But man, it was so much nicer in person. So if you missed us doing that, make sure you check it out. All right, I wanted to show. Hold on one second. My Zoom problem is messing up. 1 second. Bear with me. All right, and we also have It's Kim is here. What's up, It's Kim?
Hello. Oh, nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your help today, as always, with you and the team.
It was a crazy day. So for real, big shout out to the editors. Big shout out to the note takers. Thank you. We have a show because of you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a crazy show. Now we have a third guest, but guest, hold on for a second. I think this will be more fun if I tease this. So guest, pardon the silence, but we have a special guest joining this show, and I thought, what better way to introduce this guest than to play a clip from today first? Guys, today's trial day was kind of intense because the defense, I know we say this a lot, Elaine was losing it. Back me up, Kim, Steph, you were watching. They were objecting, and like to a degree I haven't seen yet, and we have a montage and more we're going to be going through you, but just the defense all across. I'm calling him Baby Rottenborn because I don't know his real name. But the guy, I've literally thought he was Rottenborn a few times. Correct. Isn't actually the same guy. They both look the same. I guess I'm racist. But I can't tell them apart. I just can't. So I'm calling him Baby Rottenborn. What's his real name? Do we know, guys? Someone will educate me in the comments.
I think I've got it. I'll send it to you.
Anyway, but I will learn his real name, I guess. I will be respectful. But in the meanwhile, I won't be. I'll call him Baby Rottenborn. He's the one who objected himself, you'll remember. And so he was there doing everybody was just going crazy today. But there was a point I wanted to share with first where there he is, there's Baby Rottenborn, was up there, and he started asking this Hollywood expert who came on the stand, who spent so long establishing how much of an expert this guy was that even I was like, and I'm a movie guy, I'm like, all right, I get it, enough. He was going on and on, but an impressive, like, amazing history of deals this guy's made, from getting Robin Williams the genie and making him the voice characters of celebrity. Like, it was all over the place, to like Sinatra. Like, this guy has been working in Hollywood forever, that I was like, okay, I buy it. This guy's Hollywood. And so he was there, and the defense's response was to start combating Hollywood with a bunch of websites. And I want you to hear this section.
Can we put up Defendant's Exhibit 134?
Sorry, this one's low. They'll get louder later.
And you see this is from November 5th, 2020.
And where's this from? Some rogue website? Where's this from?
InsideTheMagic.com.
Okay.
And this says Disney reportedly scraps plans for Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean 6 return, and that was on November 5th, 2020, correct?
Assuming that this is a correct copy of this random website, that's what it says. They're not quoting the head of production. It's not a statement by Disney, but that's what this woman, Rebecca Barton, says.
Well, wait, hold on.
What's this again? MovieMagic.com?
Correct.
By Rebecca, Barton.
Could I approach, Your Honor?
All right.
Well, I was just so fascinated. I'm like, who is this movie InsideTheMagic.com? Rebecca Barton. Oh my God, we have her here live on the show. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, everybody.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And I saw this happen. I got in your DMs immediately because I had to hear your reaction to this, because I'm imagining you were a little shocked today to have not only your website but your name called out twice on the biggest show that's on right now, the Johnny Depp trial. Let's start there. How did you hear that your name and site were now Hollywood expertise, the go-to for all, according to Lane and Amber Heard's team? What was your reaction when you saw this?
I was completely shocked. Like, it was so funny because I was actually doing chores around my house at the time. And I looked down at my phone after about 30 minutes and I literally had 1,000 DMs on Instagram and all my friends were blowing me up. My family was blowing me up. Everybody's like, are you watching the Depp trial? Because I have been. And I was floored. It's been a crazy afternoon, to say the least.
Well, I imagine, and I'm so glad you made some time for us because I thought this would be really fun to go through. Because you're following this case, I imagine. You've obviously been posting on things. And again,
Yes.
we talked a little bit before. No disrespect whatsoever. However, if one of my headlines on one of my rumored pieces was pulled into a trial of this nature as factual, I'd be a little like, wait, what? And so I have the opinion here, and I just thought you could, like, here it is in question, reported by you, that apparently that Disney has scrapped the plans for Pirates 6. It's done, and the defense has wrapped it in a bow, thanks to Rebecca's reporting. Can you confirm that the defense is correct, that you knew 100% sure that Johnny's out?
I did not know 100%. No, totally honest.
Oh,
Hence,
my
reportedly.
Reportedly, that's the word.
Reportedly.
Reportedly, there's
That's the key word here.
you've earned my subscription because you were honest. Because we've all gone there, honestly. Well, we hear things, right, Rebecca? We hear things, we report on rumors.
Right, and I think I honestly haven't even had time to reread the article. Like, it was written like a year and a half ago. I'm like, I've written 1,000 articles since then. I don't remember. But I'm sure I said in it that it wasn't confirmed by Disney. Because typically if we're reporting on any kind of a rumor or any kind of like not Disney statement, it will say that. So I'm certain if they actually read the article, there's something in there that notes it.
Well, look, and I'm glad you're here because I think it's important. Like, no offense again to the site or you, like I would feel pissed if they did it to me, unless I'm like out there saying it really clear, like this is confirmed, like I know through sources, blah blah blah. But yeah, they don't read the articles, and to know that we're in a court of law and that the Amber Heard's defense is pulling up something you just admitted you made up as factual to try and prove that he's lost his money. It's really scary, isn't it?
I think I pulled it from somewhere. Like, I do think I had a source, but I can't recall a year and a half later. And literally, I have been fielding so many messages this afternoon. I have not even looked at the article again. But I do believe there was a source in the article. I just can't recall who it was. But I had no, personal confirmation.
Right. And again, I'm not here to shade you, or it is, we all report rumors sometimes, and you do say it. You do say, rumors are coming in, that a rumored reboot. You did cover yourself. But you also talked about Zac Efron might take over. You were sort of spitballing things that were out there, correct?
Right. Yeah. And I'm still shocked. Like you said, in a legal case that this is the defense. I was shooketh, for lack of a better word.
Dude, Hollywood now knows who you are.
I know. Everybody was like, Johnny Depp knows your name now. And I was like, well, there is that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see now that you're being honest and clearing the air, maybe he will come back to your site and give you an exclusive now. So I appreciate it. Honesty's always the best. But this was just and now bringing everybody else back in, this really summed up and sums up the defense in a nutshell. And so I'm glad you came to confirm it and sort of say what we were all thinking of, like, what? Where? And Hollywood, who's sitting there like, well, where is this from? And that's what's so crazy about a lot of this defense is like the fact that they're just pulling it off of, any site they can find online, which kudos to you. You're in the algorithm, you're getting found, and they found you. But this you're not the New York Times, nor am I. And the fact that they're trying to make it seem like, well, it's credible because it was on the internet, just to me shows the desperation that the defense showed today through so many opportunities. But I'm glad we got to sort of showcase and really give Baby Rottenborn a complete slap to his credibility, because this is just laughable to me. Kim, you were reacting too when you saw this. I mean, you follow this site. You like Inside the Magic. Here it is. I'll happily plug Inside the Magic here today, especially for the honesty. But you, when you saw this, what were you thinking, Kim?
Well, my initial thought was that Inside the Magic has been a site that I've followed for years because I grew up in a Disney family and we went to the parks fairly regularly. And Inside the Magic does more than that, in all fairness, but they do cover a good amount of stuff that happens at Disney parks. So to me, as soon as I heard that name, I went, what, Disney parks? Why is this? What? Like, I check out this site when I hear about that there's like a flood in Magic Kingdom. I don't check out this site to be sure that someone still has a massive contract from Disney. That's not, like it's no disrespect to Rebecca or your website whatsoever, but it's just that's not at all what I think of when I think of Inside the Magic. So I found it very surprising. That was my reaction immediately.
All right, it's just like, and again, it's no disrespect. I mean, usually you follow. I don't either. Nobody, when I have a scoop that I'm sure of, they don't listen to me either. You follow the trades or you follow a major publication, and so the fact that the defense is literally going to blogs and saying, well, no, it's true because of this. Johnny's out. And they've used this, our headline, a few times, I feel like. They've alluded to your article without actually saying it because they never really want to admit it. But they have a lot of these sites that they're just sort of have put out a rumor or something, and then it's like, well, no, see, the internet says otherwise. And yeah, I could put anything on the internet. I could say anything I want on the internet. It doesn't mean it's true. That's why they bring in these experts. Everyone brings in their experts to sort of to prove it. But this was very, very funny to me, but also just frustrating and sad. Steph, quick before I go to the next clips, we have a lot more to go through. Do you want to add a reaction to this as well?
Said it before and I've said it again because she's helming the ship for the defense. Elaine, do your homework, biatch. Come on, like seriously, this is insane. You are defending for a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And this is the best that you and Baby Rottenborn can come up with. Justice for Johnny Depp team, we're laughing all the way to the bank if this is the case. This is insane. This is nuts. I congratulate Rebecca and the website for, getting a little bit of props. Don't get me wrong, last fair play to you. But, do your homework, biatch. Come on, Elaine.
Yeah.
Surely you could do better than this, really?
Come on, Baby Rottenborn. Correct? This isn't correct. This isn't correct.
No.
Rebecca, can you verify that this is not correct? ...
Dot. Who knows?
Full of as a Christmas goose.
There it is. Well, all right, there it is. I'm glad we got to nip that in the bud. And since you are now respected in Hollywood, I will allow you to stay in here if you'd like, Rebecca, through more of our coverage.
Thank you. I will do that.
If you'd like to be here, because I want to play. So up next on the case was Travis came on. I did a video about him. You can watch our coverage of Travis's testimony. It is indeed shocking because he's the first witness who confirms that he saw Amber with a closed fist right to his face. And Red Bull was thrown at him, and I don't know. I found him very credible. I'm curious the rest of the panel quickly. Like, he was admitting faults of Johnny. He was admitting that he as a guard didn't do his job. Like, I feel like those are things you wouldn't want to put out there if you were instructed to lie or wanted to lie. I felt like his honesty was very came across as I bought it, because he was revealing things that you probably wouldn't want to, fess up to otherwise. Kim, did you buy his credibility? You think Travis's story here was pretty damning?
Yes, 100%. And exactly for the reasons that you said. Nobody wants to admit when they have that kind of a job that they were not able to fully protect their client. That's not a fun thing to have to say to people. And I'm proud of him for saying it. But yeah. No, I found him to be extremely credible.
Steph?
Sure.
Yeah, extremely credible, this Travis bloke, and also quite damning because he actually witnessed Amber Heard not being physically nice towards Johnny Depp. So, yeah, another win for Team Johnny Depp, absolutely, for this one.
Rebecca, did you see this one as well? Did you get to watch this?
I did, and I agree. I agree with everything being said. I see no reason you would admit that if you weren't telling the truth. Who would make up that they were bad at their job?
Yeah, it's not good when you're a security guard and you're admitting that you failed as a security guard. So again, the fact that he did that only made me believe it more. And I'm sure Johnny is really grateful for him being honest and that he was even there in the first place. So you can watch our video where we cover this in depth. You can watch that. I want to jump to a few more clips. I'm confused on my order, Kim. Do you know which one 2 is? This is the guy who was talking about. Is this the back and forth with Elaine?
I'm just double checking. I believe it is.
Okay, I'm gonna play this one. We'll just sorry, I forget which clips are which.
I apologize if it's not.
Can you help me figure out what 3, 4, 5, the rest of them are, just so I can know to cue them better? Because as we made them, now I'm losing my track. But here we go. Well, I'll know as soon as it plays. Here we go.
And before you took over from Tracy Jacobs as Mr.
This is the agent, right? Who was helping Johnny through all the period and was offering a lot of really important insight.
Depp's agent. What, if any, research or due diligence did you do with respect to him?
Objection, relevance?
Right, what's the
Again, Your
relevance?
Honor, it goes to
Okay, this is the
reputation,
Elaine
which is
montage.
the core of the issue.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Were you aware of Mr. Depp's professional reputation at the time you became his agent in October of 2016?
I would say objection leading, and I think it's going to call for hearsay.
I'll overrule at this point. Go ahead.
I believe I was.
What was your understanding, if any, of Mr. Depp's professional reputation at the time you began representing him as his agent in the fall of 2016?
Johnny's reputation, in my opinion, he was very well regarded and respected by peers.
Your Honor, I'm
artistic.
going to object. First of all, he says in his opinion, which he's not an expert witness, and second, he's now going into hearsay.
No, I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
There's so many L's in this montage that I think it's important you to really experience how badly Elaine was trying to distract this guy.
You may continue.
Well regarded, respected, extremely talented, artistic.
Mr. Wiggum, when did you first see Ms. Heard's op-ed in the Washington Post?
It would have been right contemporaneous to when it came out.
Ms. Heard writes, quote, 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse. What, if any, understanding do you have of that reference?
That it was regarding Johnny and their relationship.
Now that was really damning. We might have the two clips mixed because there was a lot of objections throughout this piece, but there were 2 really damning statements, and that was the first one because he was there as an agent. Also, Hollywood said it too. But this portion of the trial is really for the defamation part to show that Johnny isn't getting work. And so I thought both of these witnesses did do a good job and very, very clearly put it out there that, yeah, no, I knew what the article was about. I knew it was about Johnny. And yeah, he couldn't work after that. And this was a different time. This was the Me Too era. Before that, it was bad, but now it was like, a nuclear bomb had gone off. And so that was a very important piece that we got to see right there.
Between December 18th, 2018, which is the date that Ms. Heard's op-ed appeared, and October 2020, to what extent, if any, did Mr. Depp perform in any studio films?
0. No studio films.
There she loses again, as she's constantly trying to prove this.
Denied.
Mr. Wiggum, did there come a time after Ms. Heard's publication of the op-ed on December 18, 2018, but before October 2020, that you learned more about Disney's plans about whether it would cast Mr. Depp
She's like
in
on her
Pirate 6?
feet, already ready.
All right.
I'm just asking whether he...
Okay. I'll allow that.
She lost again.
What happened in 2019 with respect to your learning about Disney's plans, whether to use Mr. Depp in Pirate 6?
Objection, hearsay.
What happened?
Yes.
I'll allow what happened. Go ahead.
It became clear they were going in a different direction.
Did you learn about the role Margot Robbie would be playing in Pirate 6?
I think that calls for hearsay. Again, Your Honor.
She's objecting again if you can't
I'll
hear
overrule
it.
the objection.
To what extent did you reach out to Jerry Bruckheimer or Sean Bailey?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay.
It does not, Your Honor.
Overruled. I'll allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did Mr. Depp lose any other films
Look at her
between
ready. Look at her
December
getting up.
2018 and October 20?
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh,
First of all,
wow.
I don't think he testified that he lost Pirate 6. Second of
Sit
all,
your ass back
She's
down,
now
lass.
contradicting
Come
the
on.
witness's testimony,
no,
which is
no,
inappropriate.
She's contradicting the. And look at this total. This was a clown show right here. First of all, he didn't say this about. You can't do this shit, Elaine. What are you
Both
doing?
of you overruled. Let's go.
And now that she heard that, he's like, she's trying to tell the jury. Well, he didn't say that about Pirate 6. Well, he did. And then finally, by the end, between the cross and everything else, they did finally get the guy to admit on the stand that this is Hollywood now, I think, right? On the stand, they did admit that yes, the Pirate 6 didn't happen because of the 2018 op-ed. As hard as Elaine was trying on the, I think they did 2 reverses or something, and they did finally correct it, and the guy was able to say on record without objections that yes, he lost Pirate 6, and that was huge, and that's what we put the title on because, again, this article is about the defamation. The article, did he lose work because of the op-ed? And these were the first witnesses we got to really showcase that. Rebecca, we're gonna be. I did want to warn you because you may. I don't know if you have other interviews or things you do. Are you good to hang for a little bit more, or do you need to dip out?
Yeah, I'm good to hang for a little
good.
bit.
I forgot. I
I'm
be
good till
respectful.
at least 6.
Okay, yeah. I'll be out by that point too. But yeah, this was, I think, very telling. Steph, I'll go to you. I mean, because again, we got to remember, as much as we want to paint Amber a certain way, the article is really what this lawsuit's about. And so Christopher Melcher, our attorney who calls in all the time, referred to us and said, you know, they got to end with this stuff or they're going to lose because this is ultimately what it's really about. And so do you feel like these witnesses helped you, Steph, or will help the jury sort of find that out?
Yeah, it's like now that they're coming towards the, you know, I presume the end of their witnesses, they're kind of wrapping everything into a bow, and it's all being discussion in terms of different testimony, different witnesses, different experts, leading up to, all right, what does this all mean now in terms of the actual meat and potatoes, the actual op-ed itself? And it was really, really telling that the agent guy turned around and said, dudes, it was obvious it was about Johnny Depp. Yep. Absolutely obvious. Who else was she talking about? Because guess what? After that op-ed, the work, the situation for Johnny Depp soon dried up. Reason why, we knew. She never named him, but we knew it was about him. And just one moment, because, Andy, if you don't mind, I wouldn't normally do this, but it is about Christopher Melcher. And you did just mention him.
He's coming on in a second. I'm going to have him do it himself.
Perfect. Okay, you've seen that.
Yes, I was going to do it, but I will have the man himself defend himself because no, he did not know about the Australia piece and what their bias was. But I thought better to hear it from his point of view because they did not tell. I saw someone just chatted that and for those of you who are wondering, and a lot of people are like, Christopher Melcher changed. First of all, he never said anything negative. Second of all, he didn't know what the producers were going to twist. Now, Nick Wallace, you can go yell at him because it sounds like he's a secret agent. But I'd love to still have him on to challenge him because he's not responding to my emails now.
Interesting.
So take that as you will. I offered him an invite. I will hold it and I will push him and ask the questions if he's willing. But I don't know if he's gonna. But Christopher Melcher is coming in a second. He just texted me saying he's able to join. So all right, let me play another. Let's get this next clip going. This is Hollywood, right? I believe so. There's a lot of. Oh no, we're still on the agent.
Again, just you can help me. Is that the paper?
Yes.
The article?
Yes, that's the Washington Post.
What's the question? Sorry.
Does this help refresh your recollection of whether you saw it in print or whether you saw it online?
It does not, but I'll tell you that I did not typically pick up the Washington Post,
Okay. And so while we're sitting, if you can, just for a second, you're saying that then 2 years ago I became, oops, I better not do that. Clear that one. Then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse. That's this first person from Ms. Heard that's catastrophic for Mr. Depp. Is that your testimony?
My testimony is that it reads like a victim statement from someone involved and the recipient, and it became a bit of a death nail catastrophic thing for Mr. Depp in the Hollywood community.
But you don't recall it, and you don't recall if that had any impact on Disney in 2018.
Objection asked and answered.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
All right. Do you recall that Mr. Depp also alleged that he was caused significant distress and embarrassment by the publication of that article?
No, that I don't recall that.
Okay.
I say that because I just was not involved in that case.
All right.
My memory of that was it was a tabloid, so, and the lawyers were
Nice dig.
All right. So you can take that down. Thank you. Now, there was a trial in the UK, was there not, on Mr. Depp's claims of libel against Dan Wooten and the Sun?
I believe so.
And it was in July of 2020, was it not?
I don't remember the date, actually.
All right. And it lasted 3 weeks?
God,
Do you
she's
recall
the
that?
worst.
I don't, but I'll take your word for it.
Do you recall there being an enormous amount of publicity surrounding that trial?
Objection calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
He said he did. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Wiggum, you said you did recall that?
Asked and answered.
I'll allow it.
I remember there being press around.
Christopher,
it.
Okay, and in
Christopher's
fact,
here. I can't wait to hear his
do you
thoughts on this.
recall that Mr. Depp gave testimony for 4 days?
Not specifically. I don't.
Do you recall that Ms. Heard gave testimony for 4 days?
I don't recall any specific memory of who testified.
Yeah, why
or
would
how
he?
long or any detail.
Is this showboating again, Christopher? Just Elaine trying to like say things she wants to say?
Yeah, just kind of a big waste of time.
Do you recall there being many witnesses testifying at that case, on that case?
I think I'd revert to my answer just now.
Okay. And the press that surrounded that case, do you recall it being focusing on things like Mr. Depp's drug and alcohol use?
Same answer.
Do you recall
Johnny
there
laughing.
being the video, the kitchen video being shown repeatedly?
Objection. Your Honor, may we approach?
Sure.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Wiggum. Do you recall Ms. Bredehoft asked you questions about whether you ever actually saw a document containing the $22.5 million deal for Mr. Depp for Pirate 6? Do you recall that?
I do.
And do you recall when you were trying to answer her question, you said you needed a little more context? Do you recall that?
Yes.
And would you please now provide the jury that context so they can have a fuller understanding of what your testimony is?
So often on a franchise movie, when you're dealing with big stars and you're talking about future optional pictures, you engage at the high level, meaning the president or the top of the studio, to get an understanding of what that deal is going to be. They then get papered, typically, when I say papered, amended, because it's based on the same contract, usually, that's been in existence. And it would get, sometimes we don't see paperwork or get paperwork until the film is happening.
And Mr. Wiggum, on a similar line, Ms. Bredehoft asked you some questions about whether after this deal was done, it was starting to trend badly with respect to Disney and not so, and still well with respect to Mr. Bruckheimer in the fall of 2018. Do you remember that testimony?
I do.
When was it that Disney made the final decision as to whether Mr. Depp would be in Pirate 6?
I just have to get up.
I'll sustain the objection. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Mr. Wiggum, it may have been trending badly as of that time, but Disney had not gone in the other direction, correct?
No.
So the
Overruled,
email
I'll
you
allow
showed me
it.
earlier,
You may continue.
the email you showed me earlier was 2 days after the op-ed, and I was saying that
What is she
Disney
doing?
had never
Jack in a box.
said that Johnny would not be in the film as of that date. My testimony is the exact same as the deposition, which is it was trending badly in the late fall on behalf of Disney, but Jerry Bruckheimer and I were lobbying to make it happen. And so we had hope, and it became clear to me in early 2019 that it was over.
Now, so that's a long clip, but I want to, and we got Christopher Melcher here, attorney at law, because Christopher, you've been saying all along, we need more evidence as to why this was defamation, why this happened. We had moments of that finally today, and you could tell the defense really felt desperate. You just called her a jack in the box. She would not sit back down. Every moment it was, and then sometimes she was just spitballing as she got up of like, this one, will that one work? Is this what you were hoping for? Is this type of stuff going to help the jury understand?
I am so happy to hear this, and because it really kind of tied things together. When we started the trial, it was a rocky start for Johnny's testimony. You know, like the first question, why are you here? He had a really hard time kind of answering that, in my view. But now we're really hitting the target with this evidence from attorney and expert. I think it was Richard Marks, entertainment attorney, is saying, look, he's a member of the Hollywood community. He's, got great qualifications, and he understood this op-ed piece to be about Johnny. He understood it to be defamatory. He understood that Amber was trying to co-opt this Me Too movement to promote herself. And that's what we needed, or the jury needed, to kind of tie all this together to say that she was placing herself in a false light, and that's what made this thing defamatory. He was a feisty witness. So I think that he was essential to try, because it was the first time that I heard during the trial that a witness had really articulated this whole theory that Johnny has as to why that is defamatory. Then with this witness, the former agent, tying it together to saying, hey, there was a Pirate 6 in the works. We would have anticipated that Johnny would have been part of it. He was that movie. And this would have brought in whatever it was, $30 million or something. So that speaks to damages. And then the final expert, I know it was a little bit dry, but that was necessary on this Q-score thing to try and present objective evidence, because it's easy to bring in somebody to say, oh, I read this thing and this is the way I interpreted it, and of course he was damaged. We're going to hear somebody from Amber's side, I'm sure, coming in saying, hey, Johnny's reputation was already damaged. So we now have this Q-score, which is an objective measure that goes based on internet traffic, search history, based on events or dates that he can kind of correlate. So it helps to provide some objective measure of how Johnny's reputation was impacted.
Yeah, because there was not only that moment, but also the agent made it very clear that the op-ed was about her. They were about him rather, and they got both the agent and the Hollywood expert to come forward and finally put that out there. And those are really the most two important things that need to be that need to happen here in this trial. Correct?
Yeah, we needed to see this. I wish it would have been done earlier. Trial's been going on so long, we've been living through this thing. But I do recall early on some video testimony that didn't seem to move the needle a whole lot. I kind of wish they would have got to this earlier, but hey, they overall have been doing a really good job of setting this up. And I don't know if there's any humans on Team Amber. I know you've been trying to get people to come on your show and speak on her behalf, but they've done a great job, and it's really not the trial team as much as the community here that's supporting Johnny, just like the community that came behind Britney Spears to now establish that, the media got it wrong. The media and the public believed Amber, and now we see who really committed the abuse.
Yeah, and just real quick, we did a video earlier this morning, but yeah, there's apparently a lot of rumors. I feel this is pretty true now. She fired her PR team. That's easy to prove, and because some other PR teams have reached out saying that she was shopping, and so now she's hired a new PR team, which to me is just completely asinine to do this phase into the court, and it just shows she's losing. You don't do that and make another hit on yourself in the media to have another PR, and then admits that she gets a new firm that's previously attacked Johnny. It's like, oh yay, cool. That clearly that's what you want to do here is attack Johnny and not actually get to the truth. So it's very interesting. I want to go to Hollywood because I do have a little bit of a tighter timeline here. Let's play this clip from Hollywood. We're calling him Mr. Hollywood because he also revealed a lot of interesting insight.
My understanding of how that op-ed was
Your Honor,
received in
objection.
Hollywood.
Oh, is it
Objection, Your Honor.
objection? I'm sorry, sir.
I'm asking Mr. Marks based on his nearly 50 years in the
I'll
entertainment
overrule the
industry.
objection.
As I've said before, I am a member of the Hollywood community. That op-ed, for the first time, is in a mainstream publication. We're not talking about a trade paper. We're not talking about a rag. We're talking about the Washington Post. It is geared to Hollywood. It says, 2 years ago, when I was getting my divorce, Amber Heard is saying, I was the abuser in Hollywood. You stood up for my abuser, not for
Objection,
me,
Your
the
Honor.
victim.
Objection. Now he's mischaracterizing the document.
He's expressing his understanding of how that was perceived.
I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
God,
Hollywood got the subject matter of the op-ed loud and clear. Amber Heard was calling out Hollywood for, since 2016, supporting her abuser, and she felt the wrath of Hollywood.
Yep.
She was calling them out to do something. In the Washington Post and on the eve of her biggest film, a big film for Hollywood, the publicity machine was in high gear. This was the height of her fame, and she used it at that moment to call Hollywood out. They heard that plea loud and clear. It also got her publicity for her movie. People in Hollywood didn't see that as a coincidence. In Hollywood, I think the message was received that she was sending.
And in looking through the documents, you saw articles in June of 2018. It's vodka for breakfast, 72-hour drug binges, and spending sprees. That you saw that? You saw that?
Again, I know these articles exist. I know they're not in the Washington Post. I don't know what article you're referring to, who wrote it, but I know that those articles exist.
In January of 2015, there was an article that said Johnny Depp is on his way to becoming the most overpaid actor in Hollywood.
I don't doubt that some smarty pants wrote that.
There was another article in 2015 that says, quote, has Johnny Depp become Hollywood's biggest joke?
I don't know, Netflix has a whole festival going now. Netflix is a joke.
And you'd agree that there is an article in Business Insider that says Johnny Depp has his 5th box office bomb in a row.
If that's what it said, it said. Are you just going to keep reading?
Well, I mean, this is December of 2016. There's an article that says.
Wait, I have more articles to read, sir. Hold on a second. I have more articles to read.
Johnny Depp is Hollywood's most overpaid actor for the 2nd year in a row.
I don't know, was that written by the second underpaid actor? Or?
Don't challenge me. Rottenborn told me to read all these in order. I can't be interrupted.
You would agree that before the op-ed there was negative publicity for Mr. Depp about assassinating President Trump. Would you agree?
No, I missed that one. But I'll take your word that there were articles written in various rags.
The New York Times a rag? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying the New York Times is a rag.
And Pirates 5 did not make as much money in the box office as the prior Pirates movies did. Isn't that true?
That's true. It only made about $800 million.
It made less, though, than the first 4, correct?
Yeah, and any company would want to have a box office hit that made $800 million.
Now, can you put up an exhibit? Do you recognize this article that says, how can J.K. Rowling be genuinely happy casting wife-beater Johnny Depp in the new Fantastic Beasts film?
Yes, this article is in the UK Sun, which came to prominence by publishing topless women on page 3.
Yeah,
there was also press about Amber Heard being an abuser in those years.
But the op-ed that didn't mention Mr. Depp at all, that's what caused Mr. Depp all his reputational harm? That's what you're saying?
Well, I don't agree that this article was not about
Did it mention Mr. Depp? That's what I asked you.
Well, does she have another husband?
This guy was great. I mean, I thought you could make Hollywood be a person who then is going to seem like a really credible, smart witness, but they managed to find him. So, Christopher, that was a pretty damn good witness, and hits right at the issue at hand, correct? Correct.
Yeah. This is what Johnny needed. He really sold it. I mean, he's an attorney, so it's almost like he's making the argument on the stand, but in the form of evidence. So this was great. Well needed for him to kind of, as he's wrapping up his case.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is this they keep doing this formula where they just like ask rat-a-tat-tat, like there's just a script they're following, and just seems like inexperienced lawyer is what it screams to me of just like you got to ebb and flow, right? It's kind of like a boxing match at times with these guests, with these witnesses, and this guy was punching back. And instead, Rottenborn Jr., what's his name? Sorry, I keep calling him Baby Rottenborn. Sorry, Kim sent me a photo and he scared me. This is Nadelhoft. I mean, am I crazy? I don't even mean, but my God, that's a scary photo. Can I know Kim? Jesus. Sorry. Come on, that didn't scare anybody. I was just like, whoa! But then it's Nadelhoff.
Up. It was huge.
It was
in
a
the
huge
link when
photo.
you
I was
shared
like,
it.
whoa! He's like, there he is. That's Nadelhoff. I gotta learn these characters. Adam Nadelhoff. It's not Rottenborn. A lot of us are getting them confused, but that's Nadelhoff. But when it just feels like he's not ready to take the punches and try and actually do something smart there. He's just rattling off a bunch of websites, and I can't imagine between that and the constant interruptions and the constant "don't answer, sir, answer yes or no," because that's only what I want you to hear. How does that going to play in the jury, Christopher?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that he's just trying to bias or prejudice the jury into hearing all these headlines. He's not going into saying, well, what website was that? Anyone who spent any amount of time on the web understands that you have all kinds of bloggers and stuff like that can make any headline that you want. And so it's not. And the question then is like, have you seen this, or don't you agree that this is what the headline says? It's not a proper question. So I got to think that the jury's onto this by now, and it's saying like, hey, if you got the goods on this guy, if you can discredit his qualifications or testimony, do it. But you're not going to accomplish that by reading a bunch of headlines.
Right. Here, there's one more clip
You saw
with Hollywood. I want to hear him.
Articles in June.
Oh, yes, Kim?
Yeah, it's number 6 is the one that has the 2 versions. So we've played the one.
Oh, we did. Oh, sorry, we did. Thank you for
Yes.
correcting me. I thought that was 5. Yeah. I played
Oh,
5.
yeah, that was 5. Sorry. So yeah. So
6 is different.
Oh, weird. Okay, never mind. Go on to go to the
There
next
is a
one.
6, right? This is the 6. This is the meme version of 6. Here we go.
Yeah.
June of 2018.
But
It's vodka for breakfast, 72-hour
It's the same
drug
thing?
binges and spending
Yeah.
sprees. You saw that? You saw that?
Again, I know these articles.
Oh, he just okay. Got it. We did.
Yeah.
I missed the wrong one because it was labeled as 5. I was incorrect. We'll show that another time.
Right.
And then we have because I have 2 versions of 6. That's weird.
Keep going. Next one. There you go. That's
Okay.
the next one.
This is the data guy.
Or prior to the
I mean,
allegations of abuse.
I don't need to. We don't. This guy was so boring and stale. I don't want to waste too much time. The bottom line was he is a data guy. It was very clear he was a data guy, and he's talking Q scores, and he proved. I thought pretty well that yes, after the 2008 op-ed, more people online disliked him or enjoyed disliking him, and compared and then made a point of saying compared to the 2016 one, it wasn't as bad. This one was worse. And so he showed a lot of data and it basically was their expert to try to, again, prove, yes, the internet was not happy with what happened to Johnny Depp afterwards. I mean, I don't think there was really a sort of an amazing quote. There was definitely some fighting back and forth, once again, from the defense with him, trying to discredit him as they always are doing. But he just seemed like a data guy going through the numbers was the bottom line there. I want to go back more and get you guys all involved, but also just to Christopher. They also brought in a nurse, which I actually want to let's not bury that lead. They brought in a nurse, and Paige in our community caught this, and I do think this is pretty telling. In the nurse's records, which I guess I don't know how that was allowed. If it's on screen, Christopher, I'm allowed to show it, right?
Oh yeah, it's good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry if you guys can't see this exactly, but very interesting note that Laughed had also reported using illicit drugs, mushrooms, MDMA, at home with a high-profile male acquaintance. CT reported her husband was not aware of the male visitor nor of her illicit drug use. When I saw this screamed to me as secret. Nurse, don't tell my husband that I was on drugs, and also with a high-profile male acquaintance. It doesn't scream affair per se, but I don't know. Nurse records saying that there's a high-profile male acquaintance that was doing drugs with her in her house, and the husband was not aware. Kim, am I crazy? That seems a little sketchy.
My speculation, I view that as a very potential affair. Obviously, can't say 100%, but that to me looks pretty. You got the ball in the hoop on that one. It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look
but
good.
the 5th of September 2016, the date that it's saying there, I get mixed up with the timelines. Who would it have been? Was she rumored to have been with Elon at the time?
I mean, Steph, let's show a little of our cards. We have a
Franco.
guest who we're trying to bring on the show who has admitted to having a seeming affair with Amber during their marriage. Now, I'm still trying to lock that interview in to bring it to you guys with permissions, but Steph was on the call too. We both heard it. I trust this. This seems very credible. So I am not surprised in the slightest, based on everything I'm hearing and people who are reaching out to us, that does the date really matter, Steph? It's clear she was around multiple people, Elon, James, this guy we talked to, women, Cara Delevingne, it's been rumored as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, you are right. And what's the date? If anybody can help us pin down that date, it's 5/19 or 5/9/16. But weird that the nurse is making a note saying husband doesn't know about the affair, so like don't tell anybody. Or is that like code to tell Johnny? Since weren't they employed by him? I'm so confused. But anyway, that was some interesting little shade at the end that I did tease that I want to make sure I didn't forget. All right, but now we've played all the major clips, correct, Kim?
Yes.
The nurse was, again, there wasn't a lot there, but there was some interesting stuff towards the end. We're gonna get the actual Johnny's team will be questioning her tomorrow first thing. Christopher, where I'm just getting worried is we're running out of time. So like, how does it? So can Johnny's team just keep going, and then Amber's screwed? Like, what happens?
Now, the court said at the beginning that they have one of these clocks that they're tracking the amount of time that each side is spending on questioning. So, and the court said, we're not expanding the time that you have. So I assume that they're still doing that and we'll hold him accountable. But it seems like Johnny's getting about done. I meant to look up the rules in Virginia, but I assume that they have the ability to call Amber as a hostile witness, as the last witness in the case. So we may see that happen before Johnny stops calling witnesses, or maybe they'll bring in Amber. But I am expecting that Amber will...
Unless they're trying to trick Johnny's team by leaking out this news that Amber will testify first. Is there an angle where they could try to be sneaky and like, don't call her, we're going to call her, and then they don't call her?
Well, generally the court expects that you give some kind of notice to your opponent of when you're going to call witnesses so they can get ready. So, things can change, but usually they're going to have some conferencing here about when witnesses are going to go so we know when to prepare. But it would be interesting to see Johnny's attorney calling her up first as a hostile witness. But either way, when she gets on the stand, I'm expecting some explosive result here by Amber. I don't know that she's going to be able to contain all of this problems that she has, according to Dr. Curry.
Yeah, you're giving them way too much credit, Christopher. I wouldn't trust them at all to get any sort of warning. While Christopher's here, actually, I saw a comment. I'd like if you can help clear this, Christopher. This came in from Anonymous. Is Christopher Melcher able to address the interview he did on 60 Minutes Australia? It upset a lot of people how biased 60 Minutes made the coverage. Is there anything you can say about that?
Well, look, I mean, I was kind of surprised too at the direction of that segment. Obviously, I don't control any of this. I just give my statements, and they use whatever parts of that they want. But I felt that it was pro Amber, but the outlet can tell it any which way they want. I mean, that's our right here as a society is to, if you want to be pro Amber, you can be pro Amber. If you want to be pro Johnny, you can be pro Johnny. So there's kind of room for everybody. But, as a commentator, I give my comments, and it's not up to me how those comments are used or how the story is portrayed.
But just to be clear, it wasn't like you agreed. They were like, hey, come do this Johnny hit piece. That's not how that works, just so you guys understand.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm clear. I mean, I want to be neutral, and I want to understand her side of the case, and I want to make sure that we're not judging the case before it's over. So my comments are always trying to be neutral, but I am skewed towards the truth, and I think that Johnny is the victim here, but we can't judge cases when we've only heard half of them.
Yeah, well said. So I just want to make sure people knew that what you didn't sign up for some. It's not like Christopher was like, "Hey, sign me up for the Johnny hit piece." It's out of our control sometimes when he does those, and I can attest and back up Christopher in that. Yeah, he tries to cover all sides and be fair, and the truth has turned him. Even you weren't as sure about this case, but now that you've seen more and more evidence come, you've become more on Team Johnny, and just that it's he's more credible, it seems. I just wanted to make sure I cleared that up because a lot of people keep asking. And also, Stephanie Harness, thank you. I just saw there was a 50 from you, so I do want to personally thank you. Y'all keep in the good fight. Thank you all for getting the truth out there just for Johnny. Well, thank you for supporting. You guys can pin that. I'm going to keep the after show going because I have to dip out myself in a few, but Steph will be leading the after show and go through all your comments that I've missed as well as more. So we're not done yet, so don't go anywhere, but I did want to sort of make sure I went everything. Just quick rounds before I dip out from the panel itself. Any other takeaways from today's trial? I mean, overall, it did really feel like the defense was losing it. We have more examples I could even show you of just how much they're floundering. I guess I want to go to you, Christopher. They are. This seems desperate. No, I mean, am I unfair in calling it what it is of them not wanting the other team to speak, constantly seemingly making stuff up and distracting, making up stuff. We had Rebecca on because they literally quoted her blog post as the reason why Disney fired Pirates of the Caribbean. And Rebecca, thankfully, was honest, was like, well, I just heard that. It doesn't mean it's true. So it's like the fact that they're resorting to these things and blog posts and et cetera, does this make it seem like the defense is in a good place?
No, the defense is in a horrible place, and they telegraph that through their questioning. So the theme here has been consistent. Magic cream was placed over the wounds. That is such an incredible product that you can't see even when you're looking at her face to face. The second theme is Johnny had a horrible reputation, so who cares if she piled onto that. That's all we're hearing. That is not really going to sell. Neither of those address the underlying issue.
Do you think he could win now?
Yeah, I'm feeling much better about it. Like I say, when I was kind of less informed when we started, or I started commenting on it, and it was just like, why is he drudging this up? But after hearing this, I can see why he's doing it. I think it was a brilliant move to do this. And now when I hear this testimony today by the expert, he's really, really tying it together in a way that I thought was very loose at the beginning about how this op-ed piece is defamatory.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I want to go around again. We'll go to you, Steph. I mean, are you feeling anything else you want to add from today, or are you feeling more confident in Johnny's win?
I feel even more confident in Johnny's win. The more that Elaine object, speculation, the more it just emphasizes my belief that they're floundering. They're absolutely desperate now and clutching at straws when they're doing that. And if I'm thinking that, then I can only safely assume that there's a chance that the jury may be thinking that as well. Because when the defense is constantly objection, speculation, and the judge each and every time, 9 times out of 10, is like, nah, I'm smacking your backside down. Sit back down, lass. I'm overruling you. Continue with the question. That's doing more damage for Amber and the defense, in my opinion, which is brilliant news for us. But also as well, going back to the security guard, he, for me, was the MVP of the day because he was the one that turned around and said, look, I didn't do my job. And guess what? I witnessed Amber Heard physically not be nice to Johnny. Like you guys said, what kind of security guard is going to admit that they failed their primary role of literally physically protecting the person that is in their charge? And for someone to finally say, do you know what? I didn't do my job properly, and I witnessed her physically not be nice to Amber Heard. That, for me, is the bit of the day where it's like, yes, I'm glad that was said. I'm glad that's in evidence. And that, to me, proves even more that there's more of evidence that Amber Heard was physically not nice to Johnny Depp. And there's zero evidence that it was the other way around. So, yeah, they're my thoughts for today.
Rebecca, let's go to you.
I was talking to someone earlier who said that the defense today appeared to be hired off of Craigslist. And to me, that was kind of the order of the day. It's comical, honestly, to watch them attempt to navigate this. And I, too, feel a lot better about Johnny's potential to win after today. I think the security guard was huge. And for me, the agent was big. Obviously, I'm an entertainment writer, so hearing someone who knew him and who saw the contracts, who knew that Pirate 6 was in the works, who could testify that, yes, this was pulled because of this op-ed, that was big for me personally.
Kim?
I think the one takeaway I had today was as I was watching Baby Rottenborn go at Richard, like, who made that decision? You got a litigator that's got like decades and decades and decades of experience, and he's an attorney himself, and you sent that on him? This is what is happening.
There was there really felt like a lot of like Baby Rottenborn trying to make Daddy proud. Like it's a really weird moment. Yeah,
But it was
Christopher. I mean, I guess it's a district. They gave faith in the lawyer. Don't you think you would have put one of your lead guys up against Hollywood's thing? Or I guess they've already prepared and sort of they're stuck with it.
Well, you got to mix up the team, but sometimes no questions is the best approach, and that may have been the better. It doesn't look good to their client, no questions on cross, but sometimes that's the best way to handle it, because again, we've seen now several times where better points have been established under Amber's cross-examination than were established on Johnny's direct exam.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I'm just going through my notes to make sure we didn't miss anything else majorly from this, but there was still a lot of wasted time and space. I'm just, again, I guess my final question again, Christopher, so I guess they're watching the clock because we have 2 weeks, they're off next week. They're off next week, so that gives Amber this week. They're off next week, and then I guess how much time do they leave for the final cross? What's that called? The
closing argument. Yeah, so they would each probably on something like this take two hours, and then
so that's a day.
Usually that's what's that?
Closing arguments would be in a day.
Yeah, closing arguments, and then they do jury instructions, so they may be able to get all that done in 1 day or a day and a half, and then whatever time the jury spends to deliberate. But on a trial that lasts this long, you would think that they're going to take probably a few days to deliberate. So it's a huge time commitment on behalf of this jury.
Yeah. Well, they're going to all write books, I'm sure, after this, sell the rights. But yeah, so there is a time limit that Johnny's team knows they have to end at some point, I guess is what I'm wondering.
Oh, they're keeping track of that.
They keep track and they know we got some more time, so let's bring more people in. And then at some point the clock will turn over to Amber. And that's all. It just seems like they've had more than half the time, which I'm not going to complain, but I guess the crosses and things ended up making Amber's time go up. So interesting, because when they play some of those videos all day and the defense is asking the questions, does that go against them?
Yeah, so they would allocate that defense questioning to Amber's side, but I know it does seem like he's taken a long time, and we saw some evidence that definitely could have been cut down or even eliminated, but no complaints to get the truth
Maybe
out.
that's why they did let it play so long, because they're just playing the clock. That'd be pretty damning. Well, all right. Well, there we go. There was a very interesting day, but the fact that they admitted twice, the agent and Hollywood, that the op-ed was impossible to get him a studio film afterwards. The agent said it. Hollywood said it as well. They both made it very clear that everyone in Hollywood and the agencies, etc., they all knew that op-ed was about Johnny. They also all talked about how the SV allegation made it even more sinister and serious, because they all then thought, wow, I didn't know about that, in addition to the fact that he couldn't get work afterwards. So really, really important day for Johnny. It may not have seemed as glamorous or as salacious as some people want it to be, but an incredibly important one for the actual case to win. So cross our fingers. I want to make sure you subscribe here, hit the bell to all alerts, smash the like button, leave a comment, and make sure you also subscribe to all of my friends here. Steph the Alter Nerd over on YouTube. It's Kim, just look up one word, no apostrophe, on YouTube. Christopher Melcher on YouTube, and Rebecca Barton. Wonderful to have you. You can find her over on Inside the Magic. Anywhere else you want to send people, Rebecca?
My Instagram's IndianaBelle88, so you can follow along there as well.
IndianaBelle88.
And it's in my bio on ITM.
Okay, cool. There it is. If you click over here in her bio, where is it? How do I get it quick?
It should be at the bottom of an article.
I'm going to find it. Oh, there?
So if you click on an article and scroll to the bottom.
Oh, there it is. More about Rebecca.
There we go.
And
we're working on a website retheme, I promise.
Okay, I can't find it, but there you can find Inside the Magic there. And well, there you go. But wonderful to have you. Steph is going to lead the after show to talk to your comments and much more. But this is an opportunity for Rebecca and Christopher. You need to bounce. You're welcome to. But I have to dip out for a second. But the show will continue with your comments and some more breakdowns from Steph and Kim. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just clipping this for YouTube. If you want to watch the full show, you can hit join, become a member today, and watch even more of all our replays, including some members-only stuff from Vegas. Oh my God, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas unless we stream it and you're a member, in which case then you get it. It was such a wonderful time to meet Christopher there as well. Thank you so much for that amazing dinner and your company, Christopher. What a pleasure. Right, Steph? How amazing is Christopher in person?
Oh, he's so amazing. Like, the dude is like, oh my goodness, I don't talk out my backside, guys. But I tell you something, like, he's a gentleman online and in real person, proper gentleman. Really, really lovely to meet you and get to know you a little bit more. And yeah, that meal, oh my goodness, amazing. Thank you again for your kindness, mate. And when I do come back over to America, definitely another meet up again. Yes.
Well, that was a highlight, Steph, and looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you again. And here, I did find her post. Here it is. I want to make sure I plugged you properly. Indiana Bell. There it was. Indiana Bell 88 on Instagram. I did find it. I'll send it to the mods as well. Go support her. And thank you for being honest here, coming on, having some fun with us. And go
of course. Thank you, guys.
Enjoying the ride. Go get all the DMs, etc. And thank you. Yeah, Pro Johnny. Go help him out because, yeah, screw that defense. That was ridiculous. But wonderful meeting you, Rebecca. Thanks again.
You too. Thank you.
Adios. Adios to you as well,
Bye.
Christopher. Thank you, sir.
Les Rebecca. Les